Are you a wealth architect? That's somebody who wants to grow in all areas of life, not only financially, but mentally, physically, and spiritually. This is exactly what we're doing every single week on this show. I'm Emilio Despirito, your host of the Wealth Architect podcast, each and every week here. Wherever you're tuning in, we're glad you're here. We hope that this episode inspires you, motivates you to do something big, and maybe even blows your mind. Make sure you comment and interact with us. We'd love to hear from you. Let's get started. All right, so we always start the show with the market pulse. I've learned the hard way over time that success is not linear, right? It's not a straight line. You don't just get up one day and say, hey, I'm successful. Hey, I'm financially independent. Hey, I'm good to rock and roll. I'm good to go. It doesn't just happen like that, right? And we got a lot of noise out there on Instagram, and Facebook, and all the social media, YouTube, right? All the shorts where everybody's like get rich quick type of things. And that noise, that is like loud noise. Like you got to turn that off, right? Like I've literally been unfollowing all those like get rich quick type of people. And I look at success, I look at financial success as a series of things, okay? And this is where it's at, right? It's a series of connecting the dots between people, right? Like who are people that I want to emulate to be? Like who are people that I want to that inspire me, that are doing things at a far bigger, better level, but that aren't loud because they don't need to be loud because they're already doing it. Like their voice is like heard, like loud and clear, right? Like who are those people? Who are their network, right? Like what are those ideas? And then you just keep making those small daily improvements to your life 1% at a time. The book Atomic Habits really knocks this out of the park really well. Check this out, but I wanted to share that sentiment with you. I hope you have a successful week. Let's rock and roll. Hey, a special thank you to our sponsor, Annie Mac Home Mortgage, whose Cash to Keys product is disrupting the industry. Sick and tired of finding the perfect home, not having your offer selected? I got to tell you, it happens all the time. With Cash to Keys, Annie Mac gives sellers a cash guarantee for each of their buyers' offers. Stop bidding and hoping. Instead, bid with Annie Mac and bid with confidence. Don't just bid, but win. Annie Mac Mortgage. When you're buying real estate, you need somebody that understands the ins and outs of the legal ends. It's so important to have the right attorney working for you. You also need a bulldog. Let me tell you something. The first time I sat in a conference room with this lady, Melissa Delana of Delana Law, I immediately knew she owned the room. You need an attorney that owns the room, that can solve problems and make things happen when everybody else can't. You want to hire Delana Law in Massachusetts, Connecticut, or Rhode Island. Delana Law delivers every single time. They're going to help you out with all of your real estate needs. It's delanalaw.com. You got to check them out. Hey, you're locked into the Wealth Architect podcast. My name is Emilio Despirito. This is episode number 17 of season 3. And we've got some really great guests coming on this show today. We love to talk about building wealth here, aka the Wealth Architect, right? And if you're tuning in and listening to this show, it's because you're a wealth architect. You're somebody that takes building wealth financially, spiritually, physically, mentally, all of that really serious. And the guests that we have on this show do a really nice job of helping us in all of those different areas. So today we have a wonderful lady from Henley Partners, and what they do is they help relocate people all over the globe, okay? And they help people get residency in other countries and build wealth through strategy, okay? So we're going to learn a lot from Isabel today, Isabel Quintero. She's coming on. And then we've got a fantastic Realm Global advisor, one of the top tier real estate advisors across our Realm network, coming on, talking about his boutique brokerage and how they operate and run their business. Really unique how all these different people run their businesses. And there's always a takeaway from them, regardless of what type of business you are in or run. So we know you're going to love this show. Make sure you lock in and subscribe to us on YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify, on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts. We are absolutely everywhere. We want to connect with you. We want to hear from you. So enjoy this show. Take out a pen and a pad and let's take some notes. Let's go. Global mobility as a wealth strategy and why the world's wealthiest are repositioning themselves. That's the topic of conversation in our main segment today. And we have such an awesome guest here, Isabel Quintero. And, I knew some other Quinteros, Isabel. They were really cool people. I say were. Ron Quintero, are you related to him?
My cousin. No, no, no. I don't know him.
But, and I don't mean to interrupt this segment, but I got to give Ron Quintero a shout out. And I know there's no relation there, but this man is the reason why I've been on the radio now for 11 years. And I just got to give him a shout out. God rest his soul. And let's get back into it. So let me introduce our guest today, Isabel Quintero of Henley and Partners USA. So today's conversation is one that every serious investor, advisor, and wealth builder needs to understand because it's not just about where you invest anymore. It's about where you live, where you're taxed, and where you have access. We're diving into a world of global mobility, second residences, and citizenship strategies, something that's quickly becoming a core pillar of wealth preservation for high net worth individuals around the world. Joining us is Isabel Quintero, Managing Director at Henley and Partners, one of the most respected firms globally in residence and citizenship planning. Based in Miami, Isabel leads sales teams across Colombia and and the southern US, advising high net worth individuals, families, and their advisors on how to navigate complex cross border strategies with precision and discretion. What makes her perspective especially powerful is her background, not only in global mobility, but also in private banking and international real estate across the US, Mexico, and Australia. That's impressive. She understands wealth from every angle, fluent in four languages, which is even more impressive. Really? Four languages? And deeply embedded in global markets, Isabel helps clients think beyond borders, structuring their lives and portfolios in a way that aligns with opportunity, security, and long term vision. Today, we're talking about one of the most important and fastest growing trends in wealth today, private wealth migration. Isabel, welcome to the Wealth Architect podcast.
Oh, you're so kind. Thank you so much, Emilio. It's a pleasure to be here with you and with all of your audience.
You're welcome. We're so excited to have you here because this is such a great topic. And, I was it you that I met in Portugal or one of your colleagues? One of your colleagues.
One of my colleagues.
Okay, and you and I spoke on the phone probably about a month or so ago, and I was like, Isabel, I got to have you on this program because there's a lot of people that are not aware of they can basically preserve wealth, they can create wealth, and they can get more access to travel all around the world. There's so many things that you could do to help people out. So, again, welcome to the show. I'm excited to have you, and I've got a million questions for you.
Hopefully, I have a million answers.
I'm sure that you do. So for somebody hearing this for the first time, what exactly is private wealth migration and why is it becoming such a major trend right now?
Absolutely. It's a great question. So basically, in the ecosystem that revolves around a high net worth or ultra high net worth client, we have all type of planning, right?
Mhm.
We have somebody that will help them with retirement planning, with trust planning, estate planning, financial planning. What we're seeing now is that citizenship and residence planning, it's becoming a fundamental part of that ecosystem. Why? Because the same way that a high net worth diversifies their investments to mitigate against risk,
Mhm.
they should diversify their domicile as well.
Hmm.
And also diversify their governments as well, just to have access to different places, to have options available. So that's exactly what's happening in today's world. Due to
Beautiful.
geopolitical tensions, not only in the US, but worldwide,
Mhm.
people want to have more options for themselves and their families.
Fantastic answer, Isabel. Now, why are we seeing more US citizens specifically exploring second residency or even citizenship options elsewhere?
Absolutely. I'll go back to maybe 6 years ago. You guys probably remember what happened. 6 years ago, we were
Mhm.
hit by the pandemic. So
Mhm.
this created a before and after in the mentality of especially our US based clients because before the pandemic, the majority of people thought that just the passport from the US was good enough. And it is. It's a wonderful passport. I love my US passport. And it gives you access to 187 countries, visa free or visa on arrival, more or less.
Wow.
However, what happened during the pandemic was that borders started to close. And even if you had a house in south of France or Italy or south of Spain and you had a private jet park outside your house, you still couldn't fly to your own home
Mhm.
because countries shut down, borders closed, unless you had a residence permit or a passport that allows you to go in. So that's what started to change people's mentality, saying, wait a second, it doesn't mean that I need a passport because I'm looking to move out of my country tomorrow. No. It just means that I want to have freedom and
Mhm.
mobility, have access to different places for whatever reason that may be. And that's when we started to see a huge increase in the request of clients based in the US to look for alternative residence or citizenship.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, if anyone loves freedom, it's people from the United States, right? It's Americans. We love that. We don't ever want to be restricted. So that makes a lot of sense. Now, what are the biggest global trends you're seeing right now? Like, are people moving for tax reasons, lifestyle, political stability, or all of the above?
Very good question. So I'll start by saying that 95% of our clients, especially US citizens, are not looking to relocate. So they're not
Hmm.
obtaining alternative residence or citizenship because they're packing their bags and leaving tomorrow. No,
Hmm.
they want to continue to reside in the US. They simply want to have alternatives available. So why are they looking for alternatives? Well, one, because we already got hit by a pandemic. God forbids we get hit by another one, right? Second,
Mm.
because there's lots of geopolitical tension happening, not only here, but worldwide. So people want to be
Hmm.
prepared and have alternatives available. Third, there's a small percentage that are looking to eventually be able to retire, and
Mm.
a lot of us dream about Europe, right? So
Hmm.
they want to start planning for that retirement, which is very good because many of these programs take a long time. And then there's also the clients that want their kids to have access to more and better opportunities for education, for work, for living. So when it comes to Europe specifically, when you have a passport from the EU, then that passport is the equivalent of having 27 passports because then you can
Mm.
live, work, or study in 27 countries instead of just one. So it's a
Mm.
very good complement to the US passport.
Wow, that's beautiful. I mean, don't we have access to all those European countries anyways as Americans?
Very good point. Yes, we do, but only to visit. So with a passport from the US, we are only allowed to be in Europe for 90 days out of
Oh.
180 days.
Ah,
Just because you have access to visit Italy doesn't mean that with a passport from the US, you can go and say, now I'm coming to reside in Italy,
got it.
right? It doesn't work.
Mm,
Same way that just because an Italian citizen has access to come and vacation in the US, they cannot just simply move here and say, now I'm living here without any residence permit.
makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Are there certain countries or regions that are clear winners right now as far as the amount of people they're attracting in? Is the US like leading that or and if it is, if we are, who else is like coming in behind and if we're not, who is the front runner?
That's a very good question. So, there are certain
Thank you.
countries that are attracting the majority of people when it comes to relocation, because this is two different things, right? So, we have clients that are not
Mm,
looking to relocate, they just want to have alternatives. But then, generally speaking, there are countries that are attracting the biggest number of millionaires specifically. I can tell you that in
mm,
2025, it was the UAE. The UAE attracted 9,800 millionaires. That is people that have at least 1 million in liquid investable assets. UAE
mhm,
was number one, USA was number two, Italy was number three, Switzerland number four.
mm.
Mhm.
Wow. How do you think things are going to change now with the war in the Middle East? Do you think UAE is still going to be number one? I feel like people are leaving.
People are leaving, yes. We'll see what the numbers are going to be at the end of the year. Perhaps that's going to be something that it's going to increase the current situation in the
Yeah.
UAE. It's going to increase numbers for the USA and any of the other 9 countries that are currently in that list. I can
Yeah.
tell you, on the other hand, the country that lost the most amount of millionaires in 2025 was the UK. The UK
Yeah,
lost
yeah, yeah.
6,500.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised. Man, what do you think is causing that? I mean, I know my thoughts on there, but can you give us an idea of what's causing that?
Yes. So what happened with the UK was the change in their tax laws. So
Uh,
that made a lot of millionaires leave the UK due to the changes
mm.
in tax law.
So I know Henley and Partners, you have locations, strategically all over the East Coast, all over the United States. You got Boston, you got New York City, you got Miami, and several others. Now tell me, are you seeing people starting to leave New York City as well because there's more of a focus on higher tax, for the wealthy?
Yeah. So I'm in Miami, and after the pandemic, everybody discovered that this city was a part of the US, and now we're all here together. which
Yeah.
is
Oh, it's
wonderful.
such a beautiful city.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
Amazing.
And we've been,
Melting pot.
yes, it's a melting pot. We're all from someone else. And I think that's
Mm,
beautiful. And we've been getting more and more New Yorkers moving to the 305 lately.
I
Definitely.
believe it. Yeah. Wow. Okay. I thought so. I just I wanted to confirm that. Well, let's talk about programs and opportunities, right? So, what are some of the most popular residency or citizenships programs right now, and what makes them attractive?
That's a wonderful question. I'll start by
Me
saying
too.
that it's very important to have clarity on the difference between what a citizenship program is and what a residency program is. So, a
Mm-hmm.
citizenship program, it's a straight path towards obtaining a passport of a country, which means becoming a citizen of a country, full rights,
Mm,
voting rights. And if we're talking about an EU country, that means all the benefits of being an EU citizen, right? There's only 13 countries that offer citizenship programs or initiatives. So, very quickly, I'll mention what countries these are. We have five
mhm,
Caribbean islands, so St. Kitts and Nevis, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, and Antigua and Barbuda. In Europe, there's Malta. Austria also has an initiative, not really a program per se. Besides that, we have Georgia, Albania, Turkey, Egypt, Nauru, which is an island in South Pacific, and South Tome in Africa. So when somebody
Wow.
wants to obtain an alternative passport without having to move out of the US, without having to relocate, these are your 13 options.
Wow. Egypt in there too.
Ye-
Georgia.
Yeah,
Wow.
Egypt, you can invest 300,000 in real estate, and that's going to get you citizenship in Egypt. Same thing
Hmm.
in the Caribbean, 325,000 in St. Kitts and Nevis, which is a very strong passport, and that gives you citizenship in St. Kitts. Now, every other program available, Emilio, it's a residency program. What that means
Hmm.
is you're not going to obtain a passport right away. You're going to obtain the equivalent of a green card in the US. So
Mm,
it could be revocable. It's not unrevocable like a passport. It comes with certain requirements, and it's not a travel document, right? So you're not allowed to travel with a residence permit from any country. You need a passport in order to do that. So the easiest way to explain residency is imagine that you have three buckets because there are three type of residency programs available. So in the first bucket, you have the residency programs that will never convert into citizenship. Can you tell me a country that offers residency but it doesn't convert to citizenship? I'll give you a hint.
uh, yeah, go ahead.
It starts with Mo and it ends with Naco. Monaco.
Yeah, well,
Monaco.
yeah.
Monaco and the UAE are two countries that offer residency programs, but they do not automatically convert to a passport unless the royal family grants you citizenship.
Wow.
Can be a little bit difficult.
Yeah, Monaco. I mean, a lot of money moving over there, a lot of money coming out of there too. Yeah.
Exactly. Then in the second bucket, you have Portugal. Portugal, you probably have heard of the Golden Visa.
I have.
It's a very popular program because it's the only residency program that will allow you to eventually apply for citizenship
Hmm.
10 years down the road, but you don't have to reside in Portugal. You just have to visit the country.
Got it.
And then in the last bucket, you can put every other residency program available. So there you can put New Zealand, Greece, Latvia, Italy, Costa Rica, all the other ones.
Mm.
Even though each country has different investment routes to qualify, they are all going to give you a residence permit. If the only thing that you want to do is to maintain that residence permit, then you're not required to reside there. However, if you want that that residence permit converts into citizenship, then you will have to relocate,
Hmm.
either for 5 or 7 or 10 years.
So it can be pretty complex, trying to navigate all of this stuff. I can imagine doing it alone. There's just so much to know, and there's so many other things. I got a lot of questions here around wealth and strategy, but I'd like to welcome any of our listeners that are just tuning in right now. If you're tuning in, I'm Emilio Despirito. This is the Wealth Architect Podcast. We're helping you build wealth financially, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And we have on some amazing guests. We got a great guest today, Isabel Quintero of Henley Partners. Henley Partners is known all over the globe for helping people with wealth strategies in regards to relocation and citizenship, as well as residency across the globe. So Isabel's here today sharing some wealth strategies, and she is just a world of information. Isabel, what about from a wealth advisor's perspective? How should somebody be thinking about global mobility as part of their overall portfolio strategy?
Absolutely. I think it all comes down to diversification. That's the $1 million word. And as I was explaining at the beginning, the same way that people are diversifying their investments and nobody invests everything that they own in one single asset class because it would be too risky, then why are you relying only one password? It can be too risky as well. I'll give you an example. When the conflict started between Russia and Ukraine, only Ukrainian men older than 18 years old who had a second passport were allowed to leave the country. Everybody else had to stay and fight. This is the power of having second citizenship.
Mm.
This is your insurance policy. So you
Mm.
don't buy car insurance because you think you're going to crash. But if you do, you know that the insurance is there to give you peace of mind.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing. It doesn't mean that you're going to move out tomorrow. It just means that whatever that may be that could happen in the world, whether that is pandemic, war, retirement, just exploring different countries, whatever that may be, you're prepared. And
Wow.
actually, the higher the net worth of a client, the more programs that they will do at the same time. So our clients that are centimillionaires, for example, or billionaires, they don't do just one citizenship program. In many cases, we'll do, this is a US citizen, and we'll do a Caribbean citizenship, we'll do an EU citizenship, and we'll combine that with a New Zealand residency. So they are
Wow.
completely diversified. So it doesn't matter what could happen. They have citizenships in different places of the world. They have residencies in different places of the world. They have property in different places of the world. And then they have really freedom of mobility.
What a beautiful freedom. What a beautiful thing. That was amazing. You explained that very well. Are you seeing family offices and high net worth individuals treat this as a must have, similar to diversification across asset classes?
Absolutely, yes. It's a must have, and we've been working hand by hand with many different family offices, multifamily offices, all the big financial institutions send their clients to us so we can do their multi-passport strategies. Also, we're able to collaborate very well because we don't do anything else besides residence and citizenship planning. So
Mm.
we work hand by hand with different financial advisors, wealth managers, bankers, etc. And not only in the US, where we have, I think, 7 offices right now, but worldwide, we are at 72 offices. So
That's great.
that really allows us to give clients a white glove service where they're always going to have somebody in the country where they're in and in the country where they're applying to.
What a beautiful thing. Isabel, let's jump into my favorite topic, and that's real estate. I love real estate, right? I help people buy and sell real estate here locally and all over the world through our network at Realm Global and Engel and Volker's private office as well. So, How does real estate play into these programs? And are investors actually acquiring property abroad as part of these wealth building strategies?
Absolutely, yes. So basically, you can kill two birds with one stone. You can diversify your real estate portfolio and invest in property in a very hot market. And by doing
Hmm.
that, you can actually obtain residency. So there are many countries that offer real estate as a qualifying route to obtain residency. I'll give you an example.
Beautiful.
Costa Rica.
Yeah, please.
Costa Rica is one of them.
Ah,
You can purchase $150,000 of real estate, any type of real estate in Costa Rica, and that's going to give you, your spouse, and any dependent children up to 25 years old residency in Costa Rica.
wow. So 150K, you buy the real estate, you own the asset in Costa Rica. I love how you say that. That sounds fantastic. In Costa
Exactly.
Rica.
Now, if I may, another example, Greece.
Uh-huh.
Who
Ah,
doesn't love
another beautiful
Greece,
spot.
right?
How can you not? Yeah.
Exactly. Well, in Greece, you can invest either 400,000 in real estate or 800,000. So if it's 400,000, it has to be in a low
Hmm.
density area. If it's
Okay.
800,000, that will be the minimum for a high density area. High density is Mykonos, Santorini, Athens, Thessaloniki,
Mm.
these type of locations. But you invest in real estate, again, any type of real estate, and that's going to give you and your family residency in Greece.
Wow. So I would imagine that these countries that are putting these programs in place, they're probably seeing or working to attract more real estate investors, more people like, from other countries with money, obviously. And when you do that, you're bringing in talent too, because people aren't just wealthy for no reason. I found everyone who that I've met wealthy for the most part provides some sort of value somewhere. They do.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, the reason why countries create these migration programs is to attract foreign investment. Let's take the case of Portugal. Portugal was coming out of a terrible financial crisis in 2008 when they launched the Portugal Golden Visa program. And they have been able to attract billions of euros in foreign direct investment throughout the years.
Hmm.
Let's take to keep the example of Portugal. Up until I believe 3 years ago, you were allowed to invest 250,000 in real estate in Portugal, and that will give you residency. That route is completely gone. You're no longer
Mm.
allowed to invest in real estate. And why do I mention this? Because in many cases, clients think about this possibility. They think, oh, I should do this, or I would love to start, and obtain a residence permit or do a citizenship program. But maybe I'm just going to wait. Next year, I'll do it. Next year,
Mm.
the program is either closed, the program has changed, the thresholds have increased, which is what happened with Spain. You were allowed to invest 500,000 euros in property in Spain and obtain residency in Spain. That closed last year.
You don't want to be waiting for these things. I can imagine it changes rather quickly year to year, maybe even sooner in some cases, especially with all of the geopolitical challenges, going on right now. So you got to get on that. What mistakes do you see people make when they try to approach international real estate or relocation without proper guidance?
Oh my God. All mistakes cost something. Some cost a lot of
Oh,
money,
yeah.
some cost a lot of stress and tears. And in many cases, I've seen clients that unfortunately they do not look for the right guidance, and they try to either do things on their own or they try to go with just local people or people that don't even work for established companies that have absolutely no reputation, that have absolutely no IT security system to safeguard their information. And you have to keep in mind that when you start these processes, you're going to disclose a lot of your personal and financial information to whoever you
True.
work with.
Yeah.
So I've had clients that they went with somebody else because they received a crazy quote, and then they came back saying they suffer from identity theft.
Of course.
So I always say, look, this is
Go
like you
figure.
wanting to wanting to race in the F1 and instead of, investing in a Ferrari, trying to win with a Toyota Corolla. No disrespect to Toyota Corollas, but just an example.
No, it's true. It's like for sale by owners, right? Like it's you're going to sell your real estate and you think that you're going to out negotiate real estate professionals. You think you're going to outperform real estate professionals in, marketing and strategy and pricing. It's highly unlikely. People lose money. So it's like going in and fixing your car on your own. Like most people can't do it and probably shouldn't do it. Oh man. So I totally get it.
Exactly. Also, one more thing that is very important for
Mm,
people to keep in mind is since we have every single residence and citizenship program available in our portfolio, we have more than 60 options. I'm really able to be honest with my clients and guide them in their best way. For example, I had a client that came to me last year when Spain was still open for residency, and he was adamant, I want to do the Spain program. After conversing with him, I realized that Spain wasn't aligned with what he wanted eventually, which was to obtain citizenship in Europe without having to relocate. So I was able to
mm.
guide him towards another program that was the best fit for him. So if that client went straight to work with somebody that only handles Spain, of course he will have end up doing Spain, even though it wasn't the best program
Ah,
for him.
look at that. That's great. What a great yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So let's talk about risk and a reality check here, right? So, what are some misconceptions that people have about obtaining a second residency or citizenship?
That's a wonderful question, Emilio. The first one
Thank
I'll
you.
say, people think you can buy it. People often use that word, buy it. Oh, you can buy
Mm,
a passport. No, you cannot. Because when you use the word buy, it means that you pay and then right away somebody gives you something else, right? That's when you
mm-hmm.
go and buy a pair of shoes. You pay, they give you the shoes. There's a very stringent level of due diligence that goes behind that process of obtaining citizenship. Not just
Mm-hmm.
anybody that has the funds can just go to a country and obtain citizenship. Due diligence that are not only we do internally at Henley before we enroll anybody as a client, but the due diligence that the country is going to run to make sure that that person aligns with what they're looking for in their
Mm-hmm.
country. So that will be, I would say, the first misconception. The second one is that you can do things very quickly. Sometimes I get calls from clients saying, "Hey, so we're looking to retire. We want to move to Portugal in 2 months. So can we start the process today?" No, we cannot because Portugal takes 2 years, two
Wow.
years to obtain residency, and each country has completely different timelines. So that's why I always tell clients, look, better to start when you actually don't have the urgency to do it because it could take a while in certain countries.
Have you ever had a situation where you were working with somebody for a couple of years and then the country changed all of the
Loss?
diligence obligations, the policy, and all of a sudden after like 2 years they were so close and then psh, nope, sorry, can't happen. Got to start over with another country.
Well, that actually happened this morning. We got notice that, or we got informed or confirmed that the president in Portugal has approved a new citizenship law. So instead of being able to apply for citizenship after 5 years of having residency in Portugal, now you're going to have to wait
Mhm.
10 years. So that
Wow.
means that even clients that started the process 4 years ago and were 1 year away from applying for citizenship, they're still going to have to wait 5 more years.
Well, and what happens if they're like older? And a lot of people, by the way, right? Like I just moved somebody to Portugal, okay, from Rhode Island. They moved over there. They were older. Now, what happens for those people that are just older and they're on their last leg in life? And I hate to say it, and it just switches, like, right? Like, they can still get residency in Portugal and they can still move over there and they can live there. They
Oh,
just can't get
abs-
citizenship.
Absolutely. Doesn't mean that they're going to be kicked
Yeah,
out of the country. No, it just
got it.
means the process that they started thinking that it was going to take 5 years of them for them to obtain citizenship, it's going to be extended for 5 more years. But they can continue
Mhm.
to reside in Portugal legally with their golden visa permit. It's going to take longer to be able to obtain their passport.
So let's say that somebody has citizenship in the United States and like dual citizenship, the United States and say like Portugal. It could be any other country, right? Okay, they have dual citizenship. When they die, all right, it's a morbid subject, but this is important because people are legacy planning and our listeners and our clients, this is important to them. When they pass, do both countries get a piece of their assets in tax? Or is there a way where you can transfer all of your assets to a more tax friendly environment?
So it's a very good question. I will have to start by saying that I am not a state planner advisor or an
Yeah.
attorney, right? But I
But you
can
know
tell you
some.
many of our
You know
clients,
some.
what they do is they sign a will with our lawyers in Portugal.
Mhm.
And just because they obtain, let's say, citizenship in Portugal, it doesn't mean that all of their assets are actually there,
Got it.
right? Normally, they
Yeah.
just invest the amount that it's required in order to obtain residency, which in
Mm,
this case
got
is
it.
500,000 euro investment. But the majority of their assets are still in the US.
Mm. So who if I have questions about that, right? About like wealth, transfer, like say you're transferring assets like or wealth or money from one country to another. Like who would that be? Do you have somebody in mind we could have on this show? And
Yes,
you
I'll
can
be
send it to
delighted.
me yeah, you can email that to me later because that would be a great guest for our listeners.
Absolutely. I'll be delighted to make an introduction. Normally, this is something that our lawyers discuss with our
Mm,
clients in the country where they're applying to. So, when we have a client that's, let's say, a US citizen and that person is applying to the Portugal program, then our client is going to get lawyers to advise him on
mhm,
everything regarding Portugal. But
mm.
I'll be delighted to make an introduction for you.
Isabel, that would be fantastic. All right. So we got to wrap up in a couple minutes. I told you 35 minutes was going to go by quick, and you did a fantastic job answering these questions, Isabel. I know that you and your colleagues at Henley Partners are the go to for anybody that wants to explore residency or citizenship across the globe and have options when it comes to living and traveling and wealth building. And I know you and your team can do really, really great at that. Let me ask you a couple final quick questions here. Where do you see this trend heading over the next 5 or 10 years? And does this become the norm for high performers and entrepreneurs?
That's a wonderful question. I think
Thank you.
it's only going to increase when it comes to the requirements. Sorry, the inquiries that we're getting from clients are only going to continue to go up and up and up because it's basically a necessity. It's not
Hmm.
even a luxury anymore. It's a necessity to have options available. When it comes specifically to the US clients, the more the merrier, meaning the more options that they have available, the better it's going to be, not only for freedom of mobility, but also for diversification purposes, also for financial purposes, because in certain countries, you're not allowed to open bank accounts with the US passport. You're not allowed to go and purchase property if you don't have residency in that country. So when you have proper either passports or residency, that's going to open doors also for business opportunities,
Hmm.
for financial opportunities, for investment opportunities. So both go hand by hand. But the most important part, I'll say, it's because we live in such an unstable world. Unfortunately, there's so many countries in the middle of a war and things happening that
Yeah.
it's just better to be prepared. And I always tell clients the best time to change a rooftop it's when it's still sunny outside.
Good point. Yeah. Change it before that leak. And if somebody's listening right now and they want to, and they're thinking, I should at least explore this, what's the first step that they should take?
Well, the first step will be to schedule a consultation. I'll be delighted to speak to them, even if
Hmm.
it's for educational purposes. All of our consultations are at absolutely no cost.
Mm,
Only after the client decides to enroll, after seeing the financial estimate, the breakdown of all of the costs, is that we will actually
hmm.
charge. client, and that is a flat fee that changes depending on which program they're applying to and how many
Mhm.
people are included in the application. But I'll be delighted to assist them. And I don't know if it's possible to share perhaps my email address with your audience so they can find a way to reach out.
E Yeah, before you do that though, if you're in your car or you are gardening or you are running, a lot of our listeners are active despite their age. We
And
have some 80-year-olds that run. I mean, like we have such a beautiful audience and some people that just like to sit and listen on the radio. But you can Google Isabel Quintero Henley and Partners. Okay, that's Henley with an E in Partners. Or you can email her. She's going to share her email address with you. I want you to make connections with these guests that we have in the Wealth Architect. And I want you to explore the power behind this because this is like game changing stuff here. Isabel, what's your email?
my email is Isabel.Quintero. So that is
Mm,
Isabel. It's spelled
mhm.
the Spanish way. And then Quintero is Quint, as in Thomas, ERO. So it's Isabel.Quintero@henleyglobal.com. And Henley is HENLEY, henleyglobal.com.
All right, that's awesome. Isabel, if you had to give one piece of advice to high net worth individual or an investor who wants to future proof their life, their wealth, and their family, what would it be?
I will say, is it better to give your kids the opportunities that you didn't have and have access to more number of countries to study, live, work, or just to give them an extra amount in a trust or in their
Mhm.
bank accounts that they're probably going to blow out and spend in a crazy way?
Yeah, that's
So
right.
it's better to just give them something that they're going to really take advantage of for the future. So I'll always advise to give them freedom,
Yeah,
freedom of
freedom
movement,
and
freedom.
experience.
Mhm.
The experience of traveling and seeing and meeting people and learning from cultures. And we live in such a beautiful world with so many amazing, beautiful people, and you got to see it all. All right, that's great. And this is one of those conversations, folks, that really expands your perspective. We spend so much time thinking about what to invest in, but not nearly enough time thinking about where we position ourselves globally. And as you heard today, that decision could be just as important. So I want you to think about Isabel Quintero with Henley and Partners for any of these conversations. Isabel, you are a fantastic guest. You knocked the ball out of the park. You answered all of these questions like a total boss. I am 100% confident in you and your ability to assist our wealth architects. That's what we call our listeners. And I appreciate you very much.
Oh, you're so kind, Emilio. It's been a pleasure. You have
Thank
such
you.
a wonderful space, and your
Thank you.
your people are so lucky to have such a great advice. And I'm honored to be part of the team that has been here with you. So thank you so much, and I look forward to
Welcome.
helping everybody that's part of Wealth Architects.
Isabel, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Hope to have you back on again. When you're considering buying a home or a condo or even an investment property, it's so important to hire the right home inspector. Specifically, if you're in Rhode Island, the home inspector that I always like to recommend is Mike Auger of Patriot Home Inspections, homeinspectorri.com. Why do I use Mike? Number one, he's not an alarmist. He's not going to scare you. He's going to walk you through everything you need to know about the house. You can follow him around like a puppy dog. Ask as many questions as you can. He'll tell you how the heating system works, how the electrical works, how the plumbing is, and he could save you thousands of dollars or even a future headache. If you are looking to sell a home, it's important to disclose as much information as you can ahead of time. And Mike Ogren can put together a pre-list home inspection report. So when your realtor represents you and gives the buyer's agent the report, everything is disclosed that needs to get fixed. And the price is the price, and you sell your home like that. There's so many benefits to using the right home inspector. And again, Mike Auger with Patriot Home Inspectors, homeinspectorri.com. Check them out. So, our next guest, I'm pretty pumped up to have him on. We are connected through Realm Global. Okay, so this is wow, over 800 or so of the top selling real estate professionals and luxury real estate across the United States and 18 countries, and we are growing. The best part about this is these are agents and advisors from over 150 different real estate brands. So, can you imagine getting together with the best of the best in the real estate industry? And this is who you have supporting you when you tap into this network, right? So if you're a real estate agent, you want to up your game, Realm Global is the network to be in. And if you are a consumer, you want to be working with one of these elite advisors. So we've brought on Raj Qsar, and Raj is the owner of the Boutique Real Estate Group out in SoCal, right? And he knows everything about Orange County and beyond. And he's just a great resource. He's a great leader in the space as well. So we've got a lot of questions for you, Raj. Welcome to the Wealth Architect Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. What an introduction. I'm pumped to be here. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man. No, it's great. I'm glad that Aaron introduced us, and it's always exciting to meet all the different people, all the different walks of life in our network, and I'm pumped up to have you, man. I've heard a lot of good things about you. So let's first talk about this, right? Like, what was it that originally like pulled you into real estate? This game, so many people come in from so many different places. What pulled you into it?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's one that at first, when you get in the business, you never have a story. And then you go 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years in, like myself, and you're like, oh crap, I actually have a story. So it kind of started so my entire family's in medicine. So everybody. So that was my route. Undergrad, my major's in bio. I have a minor in chemistry. And then
Wow.
I went on to med school like everyone else in my family does. So my entire family is full of physicians and people in the medical field. But lo and behold, 3 years into medical school, yes, you heard it right. 3 years in, I was like, I am burnt out. I need a break. Like, I can't handle this. 4 years of undergrad, 3 years of med school. I was my brain was fried. So came back to Orange County and I took a year off. So grew my hair out, surfed, lived at Newport Beach. And I was like,
Nice.
this is the life. But during that time, the interesting thing is I got a call. And then again, you got to remember, this is pre-social media. This is like all we had was email and literally pagers, right? So I get a call from a buddy. He's like, bro, I heard you were just like, you're taking a break from med school. I was like, yeah. He's like, well, I work for a company called a big pharmaceutical company. I'll leave their name off the air, but a big pharmaceutical company. He's like, hey, we're hiring a bunch of people with advanced degrees in medicine to help our sales force kind of couple the link between like sales and like medicine. So there's a finite area where like drugs are used by doctors for something that, like they're not totally used for normally. So sales reps are not allowed legally to talk about that kind of stuff. So if you had a medicine that was used for headaches, but one of the side effects was weight loss just for fun, that sales rep cannot talk about that medicine for weight loss. They could only talk about that medicine for headaches. And so they would call someone in, like a medical science liaison is what my title was, an MSL for short, to come in and say, hey, there's these studies, these were the results, this is what happened with this drug when it used to look at people for weight loss. So that was my role. So I was like, oh, wow, that's kind of cool.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Can I do that for like a little bit, like 6 months, maybe? Like I got to go back to med school. I'm like 10 months away from being a doctor. 6 months turned into 2 years, 3 years, and I never went back. And I actually loved it. It was really fun. First time in my life, like right after college, after grad school, med school, was making money. I was like, this is cool. Paid off all my student loan debt, which I was really thankful for. During that time now, I'm like 5-6 years in, my wife and I, we just found ourselves kind of looking at homes on the weekend. We just kind of fell into it. We owned a home, but we just started looking at homes over the weekend. And we were like, hey, to move into where we want to be, we'd have to sell our current home. And to do that, there's a guy that lives 6 doors down. He's on our street. He's a real estate guy. He leaves notepads on our doorstep. Again, before social media, before tech, before retargeting, remarketing ads, before Realm, before any kind of anything, word of mouth, right? I was like, let's go see what our home's worth. Lo and behold, we put our house on the market. And this is where it all kind of clicked for me. So he comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, buddy, I saw you got a fancy printer upstairs that you use for work. I'm going to email you a PDF. Can you print out some flyers for me on your house?" I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Okay, sure. I could do that." He's like, "Oh, and by the way, I'm going to Vegas this weekend for a guys' weekend. So I know we're launching your home this weekend on the market. I'm just going to be gone. So if you just leave the door open, turn on Sunday football, and whoever comes in, just talk to them.
What?
Just like, you know your home better than anyone. You've lived here for 5 or 6 years. Just rock it. You got a great personality. You're an extrovert. You can talk to anyone." And I was like, okay, yeah. So I call a couple of my buddies up. We're hanging out. We're watching the Sunday football, and a guy walks in. I was like, oh shit, a guy walked in. Like, I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" I don't say I'm the owner. I was like, "Hey, come on in, look around." He's like, the guy literally, no joke, "I want it."
Wow.
I'm like, "We're listed for this. What do you want to pay?" He's like, "I'll pay full price." I was like, oh crap. So I basically sold my home the first day it was on the market. Our agent was in Vegas partying with his guys. And my wife, in all her brilliance, is like, "Babe, you could so do this. Just do this on the side." I was like, "Yeah, I could do this once a year.
Yeah.
Sell one home a year, pay for my new property tax base at our home up the street. Crush it." Like, yeah, no brainer. So one home turned into 2 homes, turned into 5 homes a year, to 10 homes a year, to, well, now I got to juggle 2 things. I can't, well, who's going to take photo? Like, I got a listing. Like, who's going to do that? And who's going to do my flyers? And who's going to do the market? Like I had to figure out all this stuff kind of like quick, because my network was huge and my clients were all physicians. So my clients are like, "Hey, Raj, I saw you sold one up the street. What do you think my home's worth?" So I'm going in to talk to these people about medicine, and all they want to do is talk about real estate. So that's
I love it.
That's the long answer to your very short question on how I got in the business.
Yeah, no, that's okay. And your vision, for the business has changed over the years. You lead a brokerage now. Well, tell me a little bit about how your vision changed for the business.
Yeah. So, before, a lot of it was just word of mouth, right? So before social media, it was literally email marketing. Like, you'd get a PDF. You're like, "I got 100 email contacts. I'm going to email this PDF of a for sale, or that I'm doing an open house, to 100 people." That's how it starts, right? But I knew there had to be a better way. There had to be. Like, at the beginning, agents were doing everything. They were creating their flyers, creating their marketing, taking their photos. My first handful of contracts were on triplicate. So I don't know if you remember that, but it was like, literally, like, you're pressing down on the white.
Oh, carbon copy.
Carbon copy,
Yeah.
like, all the way through. And then you hand the file in to your broker, and they're like, "Hey, I can't read the 4th page. Can you go back and have the client, like, press harder and sign?" I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" So there had to be a better way. But so I got in 2006. We're in 26 now, so 20 plus years in the business, and things have completely changed, right? Everything, the way we think about things has completely changed. And technology really found real estate. And then social media found technology. And then video found social media. So video on social is kind of where we like to play our game all day, every day. And that's kind of what broke our company kind of on the scene. I remember the first video shoot we did, and my inspo came from, because we're right next to LA, right? So my inspo came from these like super high-end luxury realtors selling 30, 40, $50 million homes, doing video, driving down Rodeo Drive, in their convertible Bentley with their miniature dog in their mini purse, on an 8-minute video with elevator music, rolling through the gates of this home. I was like, you know what? That's really cool, but so boring. And Orange County isn't LA. Like, we need our different vibe. We need to know, like, what it's like to live on this street, in this neighborhood, behind our gates, right?
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of people driving with drop-down convertible Rolls Royce with their mini dog and their fancy bag, right? We have that now, but back then we really didn't. We have it now. For sure. So I called a buddy of mine. He was actually doing video for weddings, for people getting engaged, and doing like drones and jumping in helicopters and doing all this kind of creative stuff for couples, right? So I called him up. He's like, congrats, Raj. I'm like, bro, I've already been married like 10 years. Like, no congrats. Like, it's all good. I said, I want to tell a story about a home. And I want to tell a story of what it's like to live in this home, on the street, in this neighborhood, in this city. He's like, I love it. Let's do it. So our first video ever, we interviewed the homeowners. We interviewed someone who lived in the city. We interviewed myself, and we cut it. And the home sold before we even finished doing the video because it took us so long to edit and do all that. There wasn't AI. There wasn't stuff online that could help you get stuff done and remaster and, you know, photo edit and video edit and do all these kind of things. Anyway, here's the crazy part. We sold the home. This home was previously on the market for a year. We sold it in 2 weeks. The sellers were ecstatic. They used a big box brokerage, didn't work. We came in, we did all the right things, right? We staged it, pro photos, did the video, did like a back in the day 3D kind of tour. And I sold myself like, hey, I'm going to do a video. We're sitting in their backyard, having cigars. Like they were so pumped that the house sold. They're like, there's no, and we sold it for like, it was 100,000 more than they had listed it for. They were on the market for a year and they were pumped. So they're like, come over, bring your whole team over. Let's have a drink. And the wife's like, hey, Raj, whatever happened to that day you were in the house with all those video people? I was like, oh my gosh, we just got the video back. I said, it's our first time doing it, but I'm going to send it to you and you can look at it and let me know what you think. Well, lo and behold, that neighborhood has a bunco group. So it's a gated neighborhood of about 100 homes. They do a bunco group, and every month they play at someone else's house. And you know the house they're playing at because they put a pink flamingo in the front lawn of this house. Okay? So that's how you knew. But like most people are like, if you didn't know the neighborhood, you're just like, oh, there's a pink flamingo. You wouldn't even think anything about it. But that's whose house that they're playing the thing at. They basically send the video via email to 100 people in the neighborhood.
Wow.
My phone for the next 4 or 5 years blew up. We had 18 sales in that neighborhood over the next 4 years for the video that we shot on that home that never even made it online. It's like not even on YouTube. It's nowhere.
Talk about a great ROI.
Yeah. So that clicked. And again, when we started selling in that neighborhood, they were like 1.5 million. You know, now they're like 3.5 million over the years. So we just kept rolling. So I was like, oh, this has got legs. So let's start doing more video. So we got better at it. We started buying our own equipment. We were jumping in helicopters before we had drones, jumping in helicopters, renting fancy cars, asking our clients for fancy cars. We were doing Facebook casting calls. So we would literally go on Facebook and be like, hey, we're shooting a video today down in Newport Beach. I need a guy who could swim and surf, a girl who could swim and surf, and a cool red Jeep.
It's amazing.
So I would put that on Facebook.
You got it.
And it was like boom, 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 boom,
yeah.
boom, nonstop. We knew we had something. Inman News, if you follow Inman at all, one of their guys, a guy named Chris Smith and a guy named Jimmy Mackin, both who used to do stuff for Inman, were like, oh my God, this guy's kind of doing some cool stuff. They're like, hey, do you want to speak on stage? So they called me, went up to San Francisco, spoke on stage in front of about 4,000 people, just about video marketing. Super green. I didn't speak like this because I didn't know all this at the time. And literally my phone blew up. Agents were calling me. Sellers were calling me. It went from that to House Hunters, a bunch of TV spots on TV.
Wow.
And then CNBC, I aired on CNBC talking about video marketing. And then that took us, again, to another level. So it's been one thing after another, but I really owe it all to like having a vision about video, which is kind of one piece of the puzzle. You got to do everything else right, though, in this market still. But video really like is what kind of got us on the scene.
Oh, it's huge. Absolutely. You know, you were definitely a forward thinker in that area. And I know that you run a lean, mean team over at the Boutique Group and Boutique Real Estate Group. And listen, if you or anybody you know is in Orange County, you want to move there, you want to move from there, you want to do all that, you want the right advisor to be helping you out. And that's Raj Qsar over at the Boutique Real Estate Group. And you can check him out at theboutiquere.com, right? Theboutiquere.com. Raj, I wish I had another half an hour for you because you are extremely intriguing and I think you do a wonderful job. It's great to connect with you. I loved having you on here. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
That's really it, my friend. So if anyone's thinking about buying, selling, moving to Orange County, give us a call. Just look us up online. We're on, our handle's The Boutique RE on just about every platform. So we'd love to work with you and love to give you a tour of our beautiful piece of the world.
Awesome. Good stuff, Raj. Thanks again. And I'd like to thank all of our friends at Realm Global for putting this collaboration together. All right. A special thank you to our producers here at The Wealth Architect, Lucas, AJ, Stephanie, and iHeart David, everybody for making this show live and happen. And a thank you to our guests, Isabel Quintero of Henley and Partners, as well as Raj Qsar over at the Boutique Real Estate Group, and our friends at Realm Global. Thank you all so much for coming on and your support. And listen, I want you to subscribe to this. Check it out. YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in the Wealth Architect Podcast with Emilio Despirito and subscribe. Put the alerts on so you can see all of the latest content and videos. You can engage with us there or on any of our platforms, wealtharchitectradio.com. Again, wealtharchitectradio.com, thewealtharchitectradio.com. Check it out and connect with us on all of your favorite social media and podcast platforms. God bless you. We'll be back here next week in the Wealth Architect Radio. I'm Emilio Despirito. Peacing out.